There's a saying in sports that has only become more true over the years: speed kills. When you're the fastest player on the gridiron, the other team treats you differently. Since the beginning of time, people have been racing to see who's the fastest. In the NFL, it's no different. Today we answer the question of who is the fastest player at every NFL position right now. Quarterback, Lamar Jackson. Considering some so-called NFL analysts said that Lamar should move to running back when he entered the NFL, it's not much of a surprise to any that he's the fastest quarterback in the league. Lamar burst onto the scene in his first full season as a starter by winning the MVP behind 36 passing touchdowns and 7 rushing scores. Jackson ran for 1,200 yards, which was the 6th most of any player in 2019, and the all-time QB rushing record by over 200 yards. This past season, he put together the 3rd greatest QB rushing season ever, adding another 1,000-yard season. The only other quarterback to ever rush for 1,000 yards is Michael Vick. Jackson's running ability is transcendent. Regardless of position, it would be a problem. The Ravens built their entire offense behind Jackson's one-of-a-kind speed and ability to cut on a dime. Defenses basically guarantee Baltimore's receivers one-on-ones, from pure fear of Jackson burning them himself. On a 37-yard TD run against the Eagles, Jackson topped 21 miles per hour. In fact, Lamar Jackson has 3 of the top 5 speeds from a quarterback since he entered the league. Craziest part is, we really haven't seen just how fast he could be. He never ran a 40 at the Combine, so all we have is when he ran at a speed day put on by Louisville back in 2017. Lamar ran a 4.34 40-yard dash then, and based on his ability to leave NFL DBs in the dust, it's safe to say he only got faster. Running back, Raheem Mostert. Trivia time. The 2 fastest times from the 2020 season came from the same player, but who? You guessed it, Raheem Mostert. The 49ers running back clocked in at 22.7 miles per hour on a receiving touchdown, then clocked a blazing 23 miles per hour when he opened the Jets game with an 80-yard touchdown run. Raheem Mostert might be the league's most underrated speedster. The scamper was the fastest recorded speed in the 5 years of next-gen stats. If Mostert gets in the open field, there's not a defender on earth that's catching him. He rarely needs to cut and juke when he shreds any angle a tackler has on him. As one of the biggest big home run threats in football, you better get him to the ground before he gets into space. His speed meshes perfectly with Kyle Shanahan's wide zone rushing attack, allowing him to find the first open seam and cut full speed through it. With his wheels, how did 6 teams cut him before he stuck with the Niners? Wide receiver, Tyreek Hill. Another position without any surprise or contest. Tyreek Hill is the fastest player in football today, and maybe ever, but that's a debate for another day. Hill's burners are well documented. Paired with Patrick Mahomes' bazooka for an arm, he tosses it as far as he can, and the only person that seems to be able to catch up and get under it is Tyreek Hill himself. The self-proclaimed cheetah has been sprinting past defenses heaving to catch up for years now, and every time he does, he rubs in just how easily he's torching defenders with a signature deuces as he breaks through the goal line. His reported 40 time, 4.29, doesn't do Hill's speed justice. His in-game speed is like nothing we've ever seen before. When Damian Williams broke a 90-yard explosive touchdown, he wasn't the talk of the sports world. It was Tyreek Hill who erased the 20-yard head start Williams had in an effort to congratulate his teammate as he went into the end zone. Hill makes the world's premier athletes look like they're jogging. To find Williams for the high five, Hill clocked in at 22.6 miles per hour. We're really not even sure we've ever seen Tyreek run as fast as he can, because he's normally so far ahead of the defenders that he has time to backflip into the end zone. Tight end, Evan Engram. Tight ends aren't typically brought up when discussing speed, but having someone like Evan Engram can change the entire game. At 240 pounds, the New York Giants' big-body speedster runs a 4.4, and he can line up in the core of an offense or split out wide. Either way, he's just as dangerous, as fast as wide receivers, and as big as a linebacker. In his 4th season, Engram was named to his first Pro Bowl. When he's been healthy, he's been a terror up the seam for quarterbacks Eli Manning and Daniel Jones. His biggest step now is consistently catching the ball. His badly timed drops have overshadowed his electric ability to stretch the field as a playmaker. If Engram becomes more consistent, he will ascend into the top echelon of tight ends. He's already the fastest. Offensive line, Teron Armstead. Now, speed is definitely never discussed among our next group, offensive linemen, but the fastest big boy in the league is the Saints' Teron Armstead. Armstead ran the fastest O-line recorded 40 ever, a ludicrous 4.7. Let's do a rundown of Teron Armstead's tale of the tape. 6'5" and 305 pounds. To be that big and run as fast as linebackers is an aberration. Teron's supreme athleticism has catapulted him to one of the best blockers in the league since 2013. And he's able to do things most O-linemen can't, easily pulling and making blocks in the open, quickly neutralizing the league's best rushers, and climbing to backers to help pick them off for Alvin Kamara and the Saints' run game. Armstead's speed has helped entrench him as Brees' blindside protector for the past 8 seasons, and he will continue to excel for the next Saints QB. Defensive line, Montez Sweat. NFL defensive linemen are some of the most freakish athletes in the world, let alone in football. For Montez Sweat to be the fastest of that group is that much of a superlative. Sweat set the modern record for D-line 40 times in the 2019 NFL Combine. Hold on to something before we tell you. 4.41, a 4.4 40, 6'6" and 260 pounds running side by side with NFL wide receivers. If it sounds unfair, that's because it is. The NFL's offensive linemen have had to block a human freight train the past 2 seasons, and the results speak for themselves. In his first 2 years, that unmatchable blend of power and speed have netted Montez 16 sacks. Even the most athletic tackles in the world struggle to keep Montez Sweat from capturing the edge. With a unit full of freaks on that Washington D-line, expect the league to have a Sweat problem for the next decade. Linebacker, Isaiah Simmons. When Isaiah Simmons was coming out of the draft, he was billed as an NFL Swiss Army knife. For good reasons, too. Clemson used Simmons' unprecedented size and speed all the way from defensive end to corner, and everything in between. I guess he could be in contention for multiple positions on this list, but we'll stick with linebacker. At 6'3", 240 pounds, Simmons torched the 40-yard dash, clocking a 4.38. Simmons' freakish speed beats the likes of Saquon, Kamara, Jalen Ramsey, and even Travis Etienne, who he famously raced back at Clemson. That video really put the world on notice just how special Simmons really is, running stride for stride with the now Jaguars' speedy running back. Make sure you throw it in your notes that Simmons is nearly 25 pounds heavier than Etienne also. Cornerback, Dante Jackson. The truly fastest players in the NFL are at the corner position. It takes incredibly rare speed to react and then run to defend NFL receivers. So to be the fastest player at the position automatically throws you into the argument among the fastest speed demons football has to offer. That right goes to the Carolina Panthers' Dante Jackson. Not only was Jackson a great player at LSU, he was also an accomplished college sprinter. His fastest time on asphalt hit a moving 10.22 100-meter dash. For comparison, Tyreek Hill ran a 10.19. In 2017, Dante Jackson was named the fastest player in college football. He ran a 4.32 at the NFL Combine, which tied for the fastest at the event that year, and he wasn't even happy with that time. Dante's flash-like bursts let him drive on throws to the tune of 10 interceptions in just his first 3 seasons. You simply can't teach that kind of speed. It looks like the rating adjusters at Madden Football agree, giving Dante Jackson the fastest speed rating of all corners in the game. Safety, Darnell Savage Jr. Despite his combine 40 time, 4.36, Darnell Savage Jr. says he actually runs a sub-4.3 40. Maybe he slipped, or his technique was bad. We tend to agree with him, because his speed on the field as a Packer has been undeniable. By the end of the 2020 season, Savage was charging downfield with that 4.2 speed to make plays in the backfield, and breaking on routes in zone coverage for picks. Just as it looks like the throw is complete, Savage's one-of-a-kind recovery speed breaks up the pass. His ability as a center fielder-type safety, covering nearly the entire field, doesn't seem difficult to Savage, who has speed to spare. Quarterbacks beware. The deep ball may look open, but with Savage lurking in the secondary, trust me, it's not.